Well, greetings to everybody. It is uh, a wonderful day, actually, and I am very appreciative to be alive today. Today is a what I call a happy birthday for me, and that gives me a tremendous opportunity to be able to share and to talk and to impart. Let me do that right there to impart to each and every individual just some information that I think would be great. So, to each and every one of you, God bless you today and thank God for you. We have quite a bit that I want to kind of talk about, and I'm going to probably change angles just a little bit, but because I've got so many things that I want to just kind of share and say, and different things like that, and so we're just going to pick up a couple of things here. So, to all of you, blessings, and I'm seeing. Wait a minute, I'm seeing a happy birthday, and so I am seeing happy birthday from all of you wonderful people. Thank you so much for your birthday greetings. They really mean a lot to me. So to all of you, thank you so much because I'm taking a look at all of them now and just seeing. God bless all of you. So I want to start off by definitely saying, if you want to. I want everybody to make sure that, and I'm seeing everybody saying happy birthday. Thank you so much. To connect with me on Mega Boss, because I look at this as news that the body of Christ and just people need in general. And so things that we're not talking about, that we need to talk about, that is really kind of out there. And I'm seeing all these birthday greetings come in. God bless all of you. So ways to connect with us is on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. And you can email me at megabossnews777 at gmail.com, megabossnews777 at gmail.com. And so if you have not subscribed and followed, like, shared, please do all of that right now. And take a moment. Let's just stop. Take a moment and do all of that clicking and everything and all of these platforms so that we can make sure that that algorithm is doing what it's supposed to do. If you've seen it, I talked about it on one of my lives that I am trying to work desperately with Instagram, but I don't know what it is. Maybe it's my content. I don't know. But I'm talking about fasting right now on the Instagram. And since really I've been talking about fasting, they have just kind of shut down the amount of views. So regardless of how many people look at my content, when it comes to a live, if I'm doing a live directly from my platform, it doesn't show up that anybody has seen it. And so you can do that. You can look at that right now. So I don't know what's going on with them. But if I collaborate with the church or collaborate with somebody else, then that's fine. But so I don't know what that is, but we're not going to worry about it too much. I really believe that the content is powerful. And I believe a lot of other people, it's for a lot of other people, it's powerful. And if it wasn't, then it would not. I wouldn't be going through these changes. So I'm not too bothered by it too much. But please make sure that you connect right now. Man, all of these happy birthdays is just so wonderful to me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. 56 is a happy day for me. It really is a happy day for me. And many of you know my testimony about my family and things like that. And if you haven't heard it, then just put it in the chat and I'll make sure that I share it before this podcast is over. Because there is so much I have to share. And when I say a lot I have to share. And so let's also, those that are going to give as a part of this podcast, these are the different ways that you can give. $ Dr. Kevin A. Williams, Zelle, Dr. Kevin A. Williams at gmail.com, paypal.me/Dr. Kevin A. Williams. And then you can mail it at 1822 Sharp Road, Greensboro, North Carolina. And the zip is 27406. And you can immediately do that. You can do that now. So thank you so much for supporting. And if you want to send some birthday money, great. Send some birthday money to me because I like it. All right. So, and just put a happy birthday greeting in there if you want to send some birthday money. If you haven't already, if you want to do it again, trust me, I am not offended. All right. So, I think they put something out there about $56 for my birthday or something like that. So anyway, that would be great. Let's be kind. If you don't do it, listen, it's okay. I love it, everybody. Whatever you want to give, that is great. Going towards the podcast or even going towards my birthday, it doesn't matter. All right. So let's take a look, because I have a few things that I want to address and to share. And we're talking about politics, we're talking about religion, and then we're talking about um, the end of days and what is happening with the end of days. Let's talk about politics for a second. And I know this hour is going to go quick. But I want to make sure that we are there. Oh, let me also address I am 16, 14, 15, 16. I'm 16 days into my 40-day fast. And so that has been a blessing. Don't feel any hunger. Don't feel really too much of anything. It's just moving very well within my fast. And so haven't eaten anything. I am drinking today some tea. This is my splurge for my birthday. So I'm drinking a little tea, and so that's great for me. All right, so let me share a couple of things. One, this year is an election year. Let's just go right in there. When we can talk about politics, this year is an election year. And whether we like it or not, this year is going to, wait a minute, I'm seeing, and people are sending things to my Cash App, and thank you, 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 and thank you, and thank you, and thank you. All right, so this is good. All right, this is good. Happy birthday. All right, so this is an election year, and the country is in probably one of the most tense positions that it has been in the past. I would say the past 5 years, this country has experienced some intense positions, absolutely intense. Thank you all so much for my birthday greeting. This has been, it's been almost, people have been fearing civil war. That's how intense it has been concerning things connected to our country. And so it is key for each and every one of us to get to a place where we start looking at um, who we're going to vote for, what things are looking like for us, who do we anticipate being the next president, who we want to be the next president, what will the next president have to deal with. And so right now, we have great concern about the position that the United States is in and what role we play when it comes to the world stage and how things are happening and what's happening on the world stage. All right. And so when we're looking at this, one of the things we also have to look at is the fact that when we start making decisions, and I need everybody to hear this, when you start making decisions, those decisions are going to be predicated on a couple of things. Number one, your conviction. What do you really believe? I need you to take faces, personalities out of the way and just look strictly on what I believe. And it doesn't matter to me whether you vote for Trump, whether you vote for Biden. That's not my conversation today. My conversation is you being true to you. What is it that you believe? What is it that your convictions are? I remember some time ago, there was a survey that told you, it just made you answer questions. It was a presidential election time. It made you answer questions. And then when you answered those questions based on your concerns, it would then tell you what candidate you would be voting for. And I remember this, maybe it's a little better than 10 years ago. It's been a while. I remember taking that survey, curious about what the outcome was going to be. And sure enough, when I took the survey, the candidate that I planned on voting for was not the candidate that my answers supported. So that means it's not the candidate that my conviction supported. And so now, what I tell everybody at this point, regardless of who you vote for, because still in my conviction, God is the one that sets things up, pulls things down, and He can use anybody that He wants to use when it comes to kings and those that are in power, kings, presidents, and those that are in power. And so we have to look at the fact of what is your conviction. That's the first thing. The second thing is that when you deal with your conviction, what are your major concerns about the United States? And what is it that you would like addressed? That is the second situation. And so now you're dealing with the issues. Okay, what is my challenge when it comes to border control? What is my challenge when it comes to HBCUs? What is my challenge when it comes to the economy? What is my challenge when it comes to higher paying jobs or changing the minimum wage or anything like that? All of those issues have to be addressed if in turn you're going to make a decision about a presidential candidate. And sometimes we get so locked in on our party that sometimes you don't even realize the party that we're standing for are not standing for the convictions or the issues that we're standing for. So, with that being said, I would like for us to take a look at a couple of things. Now, I'm going to read off some things from both candidates that have been accomplished. I'm not bashing any candidate. I just want to read off what has been accomplished by both candidates. And then if I read off what has been accomplished by both candidates, then you have to ask yourself the question, okay, um, is this my conviction? Do I like this? Do I not like this? Where are we headed? All of those different kind of things. Now, there's one thing though I'm going to have to address. Because it just happened recently, and I have to address that because it kind of segues into the area that I want to deal with when it comes to um, eschatology and when it comes to things that have transpired and things that are happening. All right, so let's look at. I'm going to do a check when it comes to just some things that President Biden has promised and accomplished in his presidency. All right, I'm going to deal with both President Biden and former President Donald Trump. We're going to merge them together, and then we're going to see. Maybe you'll find out some things today that you did not know about both. All right. President Biden made a promise, and that promise was that he promised 5 million jobs, new paying jobs. That was in 2020. In 2022, he ended up accomplishing 6 million new paying jobs. So he promised 5 million, he produced 6 million. All right. And he stated that he was going to, in 2020, he was going to revitalize the new infrastructure plan. In November 21, President Biden signed the infrastructure bill to do infrastructure for the United States and jobs connected to that. On January 21, he said that he promised that there would be 100 million shots or vaccines that would be given. In April 2021, 200 million shots were given. In February 20, he said that he would put a Black woman on the Supreme Court. And in 2022, Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Jackson was sworn in to the Supreme Court, and the first Black woman to do so. July 20th, he promised to end the Muslim ban. And in January 21, he repealed the Muslim ban that was done by the Trump administration. In March 20, the administration looked like, he said his administration would look like the country. and that he would have diversity in his administration, as well as he would bring forth the first woman vice president. On August 20th, he announced that Kamala Harris would be his vice president, and such is now. In July the 20th, he said that there would be climate solutions. He wanted a climate solution. In January 2021, President Biden signed an executive order for climate crisis and American jobs. September the 20th, President Biden promised to rejoin the Paris Accord. January 21, he rejoined the Paris Accord. October 20th, President Biden promised to repeal transgenders, the transgender ban in the U.S. military. In January 21, he repealed that bill and that ban. I'm sorry. In October 20th, he said that small businesses need to be bailed out. And then February 2021, he increased the funding for small businesses to be bailed out. This is a short record of President Biden and what he's accomplished thus far in his presidency. Let's look at President Donald Trump, and let's see, or former President Donald Trump, and let's see what some of his accomplishments are. With Donald Trump, he created 7 million new jobs, the largest tax cuts and reforms in history. Historic 158 million Americans went back to work. Lowest unemployment in 50 years at that time. 2.4 million lifted out of poverty. Stocks hit record high. He cut $5 billion in regulatory costs. He unleashed American energy. America became the #1 energy producer in the world. He negotiated new trade deals. The U.S., Mexico, and Canada agreement is something that he accomplished. U.S.-China trade deal phase 1, he achieved. 187 new federal judges, 2 Supreme Court justice. He combated the opioid crisis. He lowered pharmacy costs, pharmacy prices. He protected and improved Medicare for seniors, protection for religious minorities. He signed the VA Mission Act. He rebuilt our military, as well as he did pay raises. The first marginal pay raise in the military within a decade of his presidency. He destroyed ISIS. He killed 2 what the United States considers terrorists, which is he killed al-Baghdadi, as well as General Soleimani. He moved the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem. He secured borders. He solidified funding for HBCUs. I think that was a little over, that was hundreds of millions of dollars, as well as he signed the STEP Act into law. For those that don't know what the STEP Act is, it did not affect. It's a prison law act, actually, and it did not affect state prisoners. It affected federal prisoners, and if they were in there and they were in there for like crimes of certain drugs and different things like that, but they were not violent crimes, all of those things, then those sentences were reduced, as well as, marijuana sales, things like that. If you had good behavior, then the STEP Act said that you could get a sentence reduced because of your good behavior. So these are the things that transpire when it comes to both President Trump, then President Biden now. I'm not listing everything because both have accomplished way more than what I've said, but I try to be as balanced as possible when it comes to both of them. I said that I would not speak negative, and it is not my intention to. At the same time, there are some things that wage concern when it comes to voters right now. One of the things that we have to look at is that there is no mistake about it. The United States is getting ready to be in a war, and the next president is going to be a wartime president. Am I comfortable in saying that? I'm extremely comfortable in saying that. If you look at right now, the fact that the United States has just had 3 Black military soldiers that were killed associated with groups that are funded by Iran. With that being said, this situation with Iran is reaching its boiling point, and something is going to have to be done. There is some concern right now about the present administration being slow to retaliate in some kind of way. And so that is something that is getting ready to really hit its boiling point, because right now, the United States and Iran are oil and water that just don't mix, and it's going to come to a certain point. Iran has been funding a lot of groups. They funded Hamas. They have funded the Houthis. They've funded so many different terrorist groups from Yemen, from Gaza, from Lebanon. They're just funding a lot of the groups, and as a result, the United States is being, I think, baited and hit in some kind of way. The United States is going to have to respond, and when they do, then that means that it is very possible and probable that other countries are going to be involved. Please remember what the scripture tells us, that the World War III is going to be connected to 4 angels being released out of Euphrates River after it dries up. We all are, unless you've been living up under a rock, you know the Euphrates River has been drying up, and consistently they have found more historical things now than ever before. There's some very strange sounds that have been coming out of the caverns of these places that have been found because the Euphrates River has dried up so much. And so now, is there a major concern? You bet your bottom dollar there's a major concern. And therefore, the next president is going to have to figure out a way to deal with this, and the United States maintain its strength as a superpower. If you have not noticed that there are other countries that are now banding together, if you look at all the countries that are now aligning themselves with BRICS, NATO is not looking as strong as it was. And remember, Russia cannot be a part of NATO anymore because of their past action. That's why they're in BRICS. So now, what do we have? Do we have a major problem? Yes, we have a major problem. And right now, the next president is going to have to be, I'm going to put this in, the next president is going to have to be a wartime president, whether you like it or not. Whether you like it or not. I would say pray for all of our military. And the reason I would say pray for all of our military is because our military is going to war. Our military is going to war. That's it. And so the question that you have to ask is not only about the economy of our country, but also the positioning of our country. That's one thing. The second thing that you have to look at, and that is, who do you want to be the wartime president? Who do you want to be the wartime president? President Biden has promised quite a few things for the United States. And as a result, Um, we've seen the direction that the United States is going. You have to ask yourself that question. Do you like the way the United States is going? If so, then you move forward. If not, then where do we pivot? Where do we pivot? If that's your choice. All right. There has been, I've watched a lot of different surveys, and I don't, like I said, I don't want to speak anything negative about any of the candidates. I just want to say that you have to look at statistics and find out the direction that the United States is going in. And I do know that there is a concern about our present president's health, but we also have to consider something else, that both of these men are older men, but uh, as um, as we say in the Black community, there are two types of the same age, and sometimes you can be a very old 60, and sometimes you can be a very young 60. And so when you're looking at their ages, you're looking at something else that's out there, and that is that who is going to be the best wartime president, where we are. And then also, you're going to have to look at something else. If the present president, no, well, not the present president, which means Joe Biden, or let's say that Donald Trump is in office, Donald Trump, if either one of them dies, the next person is going to be the president of the United States, and you have to ask yourself the question: do you trust? Then their choices for vice president. All right. And so now let's take a look and let's see. Now, and I'm going to look at, you know what, I'm going to put something up. There is something that I will say that Donald Trump was going to do. A lot of people didn't know about it. And I was surprised that a lot of people did not know about this plan that he had that was trying to be blocked. But he had a plan that he had, and some of y'all don't know. How many of y'all heard of the Platinum Plan? If you heard of the Platinum Plan, say yes. If you never heard of the Platinum Plan, say no. Just put in the chat right now, because I want to take a look at that to see if everybody has heard about the Platinum Plan. And if you have not, then I want you to, I'm going to pull it up just for a second. I have people saying no, they didn't. I have people saying yes, they did. Right now, I have more no's than I have yeses. That's okay. A lot of people did not hear about the Platinum Plan. I'm getting yeses, I'm getting no's, but I'm looking, and you all are looking at the chat as well. It looks like I've got more no's than I have yeses concerning people knowing anything about Donald Trump's Platinum Plan. So with that being said, if you knew about it, I was not going to put it up. But if a lot of people did not know about it, then I want to make sure that we get it up so that people can at least see what that Platinum Plan was. That it seemed to me, it was unfortunate to me that that a lot of the media was not carrying the information about this Platinum Plan. Would you put the Platinum Plan up and let me show about Donald Trump's Platinum Plan and who it impacted? This is Donald Trump's Platinum Plan, and he's talking about opportunity, security, and prosperity. And the Platinum Plan was for Black America. Let me read the first line to you. Opportunity: by achieving historic employment levels for Black Americans, as well as increasing access to capital and new business, President Trump has been committed to ensuring all Black Americans can achieve the American dream. It talks about Black American and security, Black America's prosperity when it comes to its HBCUs, and fairness when it comes to education and opportunity zones and things like that. I'm just going to do a quick, would you scroll down just a bit? And I want to see that President Trump promised that you didn't hear about a lot, and he was fought concerning right there. I want y'all to look at this for a second, and we'll just talk about it for a minute. His intention was to do 3 million new jobs for Black communities. creating 500,000 new Black-owned businesses, increase access to capital in Black communities for all by almost $500 billion. He wanted to put $500 billion in the Black community, safe urban neighborhoods with highest policing standards, commit to work on the Second Step Act. Second Step, the First Step Act was for federal prisoners. Second Step is dealing with state prisoners, access to better education and job training opportunities, give Black churches the ability to compete for federal resources for their community, bring better and tailored health care to address historic disparities, immigration policy that protects American jobs, advance home ownership opportunities, and enhance financial literacy in the Black community, onshoring manufacturing to advance jobs and develop opportunities for Black-owned businesses. When I look at this, I look at how many people have never heard about this. Would you scroll down just a bit? I just want people to see. I'm not going to read anymore. I just want people to see the details of the Platinum Plan and what has transpired when it comes to businesses and security and things like that when it comes to Black America. And so when you get an opportunity, take a look at the Platinum Plan and you may find something that is quite interesting. If you found what you just learned quite interesting, I want you to put that in the chat to let me know that you have found this quite interesting. All right, so you can go ahead and take that down. And so I think that one of the reasons that I do news like this is because I am concerned that there is not a proper balance. I'm not swaying towards Trump, not swaying towards Biden. I'm swaying towards the fact of let's look at the report card. Let's find out who has accomplished what has been achieved. And I'm looking at people saying very interesting, quite interesting. Thank you, Brandon, Yvonne, Brenda, Connie, Dolores, John, Stephanie. Thank you, Brenda. All of this is, sometimes we don't know things. Thank you, Laura. This is when we're dealing with information that many times is taken away from the media. We're not really realizing what is happening. Thank you, Keisha and Carolyn. I think that right now, as the country educates themselves, this is what brings the divide. I have things that I like about both candidates. I have things that I'm concerned about with both candidates. And so as a result, I think that it's still left up to the voter to make their decision about really what's happening and what's taking place, what is going to impact communities best, and then how our Black and Brown communities are going to be impacted when it comes to these particular things. And so I think it's important for us to take a look at and see. Now, there is something that I want you all to see. There is a video. And I think we have the video. I'm not sure, but I'm hoping that we have this video because I want you all to see this video. And I'm showing you this video for a particular reason. There is a prophetic statement that I made in 2021. And one of the reasons why I like social media, it has its pros and its cons to me. But one of the reasons that I do like social media is because you can't fake a timestamp. And that is that if you said something, if you prophesied something, if you spoke something, whatever you said, that thing is timestamped. And you can't change that without, in fact, you just can't change it. You can't change that timestamp at all. You would have to delete or something like that, but you can't change that timestamp. And so I want to see if we have that video right now. Can you play that, please?
we have so many great people in the Republican Party, but not for a while.
What criteria are you using to identify who your running mate is?
Always has to be one thing. It's got to be who would be a good president. I mean, you always have to think that because, in case of emergency, things happen, right? No matter who you are, things happen. It's got to be number one.
Who is your running mate?
Well, I have a lot of good people. We have a lot of really good people.
So you haven't decided who it is?
I have a lot of good ideas, but I haven't. And there's no reason to do that quickly.
So you haven't told that person, you're my person?
I speak to everybody. I speak to everybody. I called Tim Scott this week because a lot of people like Tim Scott. I called him and I said, you're a much better candidate for me than you are for yourself. When I watched him, he was fine. He was good, but he was very low key, et cetera, et cetera. I watched him in the last week defending me and sticking up for me and fighting for me. I said, man, you're a much better person for me than you are for yourself. Because for himself, he was low key. For me, he's been a real tiger. He's been incredible. And others have too.
So maybe it's Tim Scott.
Well, it could be a lot of people. But it was interesting. I was watching Tim. I've been watching, for a while. I watched him campaign as a candidate. But I watched him over the last 2 weeks. As you know, he fully endorsed me, gave me a beautiful endorsement. And he has been really strong in terms of that. No, but that has nothing to do. I don't want anybody to take even any inference, but it's incredible. Kristi Noem has been incredible fighting for me. She said I'd never run against him because I can't beat him.
Okay, take that down for a second.
What was the story?
And so now, guys, this just happened recently. This just happened recently because this is about the 2024. Y'all hear what I'm saying? This is about the 2024 presidency. This is not 4 years ago. This is not 5 years ago. This is about the 2024 presidency. I believe this interview happened last month. It may have happened actually this month because I'm so close to the months. All right. 2024 presidency. That's what this is about. And he mentioned Tim Scott, and he talked about Tim Scott longer than he talked about the other possibility. Also considered the fact that Tim Scott was the first person that he mentioned when the interviewer asked him. Now, I would like to put up something that after prayer, I put online in 2021. Would you put that up? Because one of the things, as they're pulling it up, one of the things that you got to know, and that is that, and let me know if you have it, because if you don't have it, I can send it to you. One of the things that you've got to know is that right now, prophecy is manifesting, and we don't even realize that it's manifesting. I did something in 2021. They're trying to put it up now. Would you go ahead and expand that just a bit? Because they're trying to get that there. This is something that I stated in 2021, August 27th, 2021. And many of you, if you go in my Instagram, you'll be able to see this, find this picture. And when I put that up there, this is what I said in this. I said, take note. Can you enlarge it just a bit? If you can, that's great. If you cannot, it's okay. All right. But I said, take note, his political future and influence. Go ahead and scroll up. They're having a little hard time there. All right. So, and you'll be able to see that his political future and influence is bigger than he realizes. I said, watch his career. I saw something when I was in prayer weeks ago. Pray for this man. I put in Tim Scott. I can't say what I saw yet, but I make the statement, watch it. And they pull it up. So let me pull it up right here and let me just read it real quick, because I have it on my phone as well. And we're still trying to figure all of this out. So it's all good. But I was talking to my mother about it as well. So this is what it says, and this is August 2000, August 2021, August 27th, 2021. Go on my Instagram right now, and you could see it. It says his political future and influence is bigger than he realizes. Watch his career. I saw this in prayer weeks ago. Pray for this man, Senator Tim Scott. I can't say what I saw yet, but watch. I know what I see. God's favor is on his life. Now, that was in 2021. Now, here it is in the beginning of 2024. The same president is now going back for re-election. And now who is he looking at as possibly a vice president or somebody high in his cabinet? Tim Scott. Now, if you want to say that prophecy and God speaking to people is not accurate, then how do you explain that? How do you explain it? Either God is speaking or he's not. Now, when the Lord spoke that into me and he said what he said to me, please hear what I'm saying. One thing I know is that after prayer or in prayer, I know what I heard. I know what I heard. And this man was nowhere near a presidency. They were nowhere near it. But the Lord spoke to me and said these things to me. And I'm telling you right now, and this said, I remember you posting that, Bishop. There are people that remember. How many of you all remember me posting it and talking about it? I talked about it in either a live or either on Warfarecology. And I made the statement. I said, this is a man that you're going to need to watch. Prophecy is not necessarily what's happening for the next day. Sometimes prophecy is happening 3 years, 5 years, 7 years later, but God's word never falls to the ground. All right. And so we have to look at the reality of really what is happening now. And so what's taking place, and I see people putting this in there, what is taking place right now is a manifestation of something that I saw in prayer 3-4 years ago. Give or take. This is I remember when I made the statement, some people didn't even know who Tim Scott was. And Tim Scott actually is the senator that championed the opportunity zones. All I'm saying to you is this: I know what I saw. I know what I saw. And many times when you do prophetic statements and things like that, people hear you at that moment and then don't hear you the next moment or say you never said it. And that's one of the reasons why I like social media, because you can't do anything about time stamping. It's just what it is. October 27th, 2021 is when that was time stamped. So now, what do I believe? What do I believe? What I believe right now is that the United States is in a position that we're going to war. That's what I believe. I believe that we need to prepare. And y'all hear my heart. I think that we need to prepare for all of the unexpected. And that means that ways that you can secure and protect your family, you do. I think that I know I'm going to get some people that are going to have a problem with what I'm getting ready to say. But I'm going to say it is because it's something that I believe. I believe that in your home, you should have ammunition and a firearm in case somebody breaks in, that you can protect your family, protect your wife, protect your children, protect your loved ones. I believe that you should have that. I do believe in prayer, and I believe that God covers us. But I also understand something else, and that is that God, even though he protects us, he also gives us wisdom. The same God that speaks to me and tells me that to bless my food is the same God that gives me wisdom not to eat food that is going to challenge my health. So you have to be able to balance between the two, all right? And know what the will is of God. The Bible says don't tempt the Lord. So I'm not going to sit here and tempt God by putting something in my mouth that I know is going to be bad for my health. It's just not. It's not. God gives us wisdom as well. And I think that everybody has the right to bear arms and protect your household. And one of the reasons why I believe that in the United States, that there has not been an invasion in the United States is because the second militia in the United States is the homeowner that is protecting their home. And I don't care if you got 6 bullets. I think you need more than that. But I don't care if you got 6 bullets. That's 6 bullets that will protect your home and make somebody else that's trying to come in that home think twice about that. That's my belief. That's my belief. I think that you're going to have to do something. There are ways that you can do, and you can pick them up online, but there are ways that you can get rice and different things like that, seal them so that they are preserved for 25, 30 years. I would say do that. I don't know what's coming. I suspect, but I don't know what's coming. But what I suspect is that what's coming is not going to be nice. And if in turn we have like a cyber attack or something like that that is going on, you need to know what to do. If you have a cyber attack, you got to know you even if you can't afford a major generator in your house, and there are generating companies that probably will give you a monthly payment or something. I'm telling you, if you got a generator in your house, even when the snow comes and everybody's power is off, your generator kicks in, you're good. But even if you can't afford a home generator, can you consider getting even a small generator to say, you know what, if something goes down, at least I can warm my family and I can make sure the refrigerator stays on. That's all I'm saying, guys. That's all I'm saying. There's some things that later on I'm going to share with you, things that I'm going to help you. I'm actually putting together a package to actually help you so that whatever you're going to be needing, that I'll have a package to help you with that. Because right now, for each and every individual, all of this is important. There are questions that people want me to answer. Let me go ahead and answer some of these questions, and let's take a look at it. Let's take a look. Where would the funds come from to support such a plan? The United States has plenty of money when it comes to, even though the United States have not given reparations to Black and brown people, please don't ever consider the fact that there is not funding for it. And that what I've learned from some of my senator friends, that there is money that is just sitting, that is not doing anything and just building and building and building. So is there a fund in the US that actually can fund such a plan like the Platinum Plan? There is money there. There is money there. Now, how much that is, I'm not sure, but I do know this. It is I think it's in the hundreds of billions. I don't know if it's 500 billion, but I think it's in the hundreds of billions. And a plan like that, you would not put it out there anyway, because like throw all the money out there at one time anyway. So whether it is Trump that does that Platinum Plan or Biden that does that Platinum Plan, is the funding there? The funding is there. The funding is there, and it is gaining interest annually. All right, what's the next question? Do you think the border down south will be an issue coming up with the war, having different countries sneaking their troops in through the borders now? I don't think, I'll tell you this. The only way that it would be a problem is if those countries then would side with other nations coming in. And I'm not sure if they would. The reason being is because having the United States backing you is better because we're all on the same landmass. We're all on the same continent. That means you got other people coming from other continents, other troops coming from other continents to do harm on this continent. So do I think that there will be great issue? I don't think that there's going to be great issue, because when those things come in, then ultimately the reason that Canada, you never really hear much about Canada's great military, because Canada's backing, regardless whether we have agreement or not, Canada's backing is still the United States. Remember, Alaska is still on the other side of Canada. So Canada's backing is still the United States. You got something else there. You've got Mexico. Mexico does not want issue with the United States. And the reason being is because we're still watching what is coming to Mexico. We can't interfere, but it doesn't mean that we won't see it. And if we can see what's happening in Iran and Israel and all these other places, we definitely can see what's happening on our continent, and we would do something about it. Thanks. Great question, though. What's your next question? Do you think King Charles will abdicate this year? I don't think so. I don't think so. He just became king. I don't think so. I think that what he would do is, I think he would die out. It's horrible to say, but if it came to that, I think that he would transition. And I think that what they would do, in my opinion, I think that what they would do is keep him hidden. So his condition would be hidden, so it wouldn't look like the country is weak. We've got to remember that in the listing of who would be king, if Charles dies, then William is going to be king. If William dies, William has a son by the name of George. He is his oldest son. He would be king. After that, William has a daughter. She would be queen. After the daughter, then he has another son, I think is Louise. He would be king. And then after Louise, then comes Harry. And that is if Harry got back in alignment. I have a whole nother conversation about Meghan and Harry. I just, a disappointing conversation. I will say that. Disappointing conversation for this reason. And that is that when you are the first of your kind to come into a dynasty that is hundreds of years old, you can't have a modern mindset and going through a whole bunch of changes. You gotta be wise enough to figure out how then to maneuver through whatever challenges, because you're the first of your kind. If I'm the first of my kind to go anywhere, I need to expect opposition coming from that, because I'm the first of my kind. And that means if I'm the first of my kind, if I'm the first fruit of that situation, the last thing that I need to do is bow out of the whole thing. The thing that I need to do is face it and teach people how to handle it, how to handle pressure. And I just don't think that Harry and Meghan handled this situation correctly, because in my culture and in Black America, we know how to be mistreated and still keep moving forward. Don't get sensitive when you are 5 seats away from being king over. That means that if something happened to that whole family, that means that Meghan would have been the first Black queen, or definitely, Lord have mercy, there's a lot that I could say. She would be the first Black in that position, not queen, but she'd be the first Black in that position. Harry would have been, and that means that her influence would have been so uniquely on Harry. And I just think that's a very interesting situation. Because there has not been power. There's not been power, a Black power like that in Europe since the Moors. Next question. Got to know your history. Have the United States ever, I'm assuming, had a Democrat in office during war? Yes. Yes, we've had Democrats in office during war. And because you got to look at Vietnam, we've had Democrats in office during war. So, yeah, I'm gonna answer your question. Yep, we have. And so, yeah, we have. And I think that there's been decisions that have been made by Democrats and Republican presidents that in turn were not good decisions. But we've had both in war. Next question. Would you suggest securing cash money in your home in case of cyber attacks? If so, how much would you suggest? Yes, I would suggest that. I would suggest it in small bills. I think that if I think every household should at least have a minimum of $1,000 in small bills, a minimum of $1,000 in small bills. The reason being is because you got to consider groceries, you got to consider gas, and you got to consider paying some bills and things like that. Even if the government said that they're going to put a halt on mortgages, you still have got to have your way of living. And so, and the small things that you got to do. The reason I say small bills is because in a situation like that, then there would be hardly be no change. And because there would be no change, you don't want to give up all of your money in a $50 or $100 bill because they don't have change to give you, and forced to get a whole bunch of products that you don't want to get because they don't have change to give you. So great question. Next question. Pastor, how did Iran really do become so powerful? Is this the country to finance bin Laden? All right. Iran became very powerful. Remember, Iran now is Persia in the Bible, and Persia was a world power. Actually, the last time Persia was a world power, who was it? Was Nebuchadnezzar's time? No, it was even further than that, because Alexander the Great is the one that conquered Persia, and they were a world power then. They had taken over the Persian Empire had taken over the world. Persia also has a lot of gold, or Iran has a lot of black gold, and I call black gold oil, and so that's how they became so powerful. And are they the ones that financed bin Laden? I would say that some funding came from Iran, yes, because his connections and associations were from countries that had issue with the United States, and Iran is top on that list. Next question. Thank you for your question. You don't think that you don't think that Harry was breaking a family curse of the royal family is wicked on so many levels? I think that you don't break a curse by running. You break a curse by dealing with it. If you leave the family, how are you breaking the curse if you leave the family? Because the curse is still in the family. That means that you then are out of the curse, but you've left a bloodline of people still in that curse. The way that you deal with the curse is head on. Um, um, Casting down imaginations, every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, bringing into captivity, the scripture says, every thought to the obedience of Christ. The only way that you're going to break a curse is you run straight there and let that curse know you will not get past me while I'm in the family, operating in the family. I think it's a great thought that you have. And some may even consider the fact that he's breaking a family curse, but he's breaking away. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 10 and 13. There is no temptation taking you, but such as is common to man. God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted, but that you are able, but with the temptation, provide a way of escape, then so you may be able to bear it, which means that God allows you to escape the emotional side of it so you can bear the grunt of it, so you can deal with it. Great question, Sophia. Very great question. Thank you for your question. Next question. Does the mark come after the war? The mark does come after World War III, but it comes before Armageddon. Remember, there are two different wars. So it comes after World War III, but it comes before Armageddon. Great question. Next question. Do you think it would affect the people that receive Social Security? I think in some levels it would. At some levels it would, because if you don't bow down to the system, then of course you may have some problems. So that's why I think that people that are on fixed incomes, there are different ways that I think that we need to consider the fact of those individuals being able to save money and secure certain monies. I think insurance is one of those ways where you can borrow from your insurance if you have that type of insurance, or that living kind of will insurance and things like that. So, but great question. Next question. Let me look at this. How do you suggest we protect the money in the bank in case a cyber attack breaks out. Where here's the problem, and great question, but here's the challenge. I would say because a lot of people when they get their bank statements, uh, a lot of people throw them away. Sometimes when you're putting money in the bank, people do not get a statement. So one of the ways you can prove that you have money is a statement. That's the first thing. The second thing that you can do, I would still pull certain money. I would still pull certain monies out that would have in your household just so that you can protect just in case the unexpected happens. I've seen that before where maybe a year ago, 2 years ago, where some gas stations, all of the all the technology shut down. And as a result, unless you had cash, you could not get gas. And so I would say that you keep some in a secure place within your home. I think that the other thing is that you may consider doing something like some particular stocks or things like that that may secure it. A lot of people don't know that when you're dealing with brokers like that, you're also dealing with somewhat banks because they sell off your stocks and then will give you the cash, transfer it to you. So there are different ways to do that. I'm also going to suggest gold. Gold. Gold secures money. So let's. I think that's all of my questions, and thank you all so much. Thank you all so much. Now, this is an opportunity to be able to give, but before I do that, my staff and everybody knows I don't like surprises. I really don't like them. But nevertheless, my staff has said, listen, can you give us 5 minutes because we would like to do something for you. So I am going to see what they want to do for me for the first time. And so if you all will put that up, then let me see what it is that you all are trying to surprise me with. And I guess we're going to all see this together for the first time. I'm going to see what they'll do it. All right. I'm waiting, staff. All right. I'm waiting. In the meantime, 56 years old. All right. And I'm happy about it. 56 years old and I'm happy about it. We have quite a few people online. And today I am 56. I am walking in a healed body. I've been fasting for 16 days. I'm going to 40 days and without food. And trust me, it is not as difficult as people try to make it. It's not. It's not at all. It's not as difficult as people try to make it. And so now I'm going to be much smaller because right now this is a 15 and a half shirt. Look at that. 15 and a half shirt. So let's see what we got here. What y'all got? I can hear nothing. Thank you so much. I think that they said they sent me a message because I can see messages. They sent me a message saying that there was supposed to be some talking. So I don't know if you all heard it. I didn't hear it, but I don't know if you all heard it. But I have been preaching for this year will be 41 years. 41 years that I've been preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ, and so I will say to each and every individual, it is a blessing to be. Is there supposed to be sound? Yeah, they're supposed to be sound, but the sound didn't come through. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to see if I can get my staff to put this together, and if they could put it together, I'm gonna put it on my social media. All right, so that we can see it with the sound. All right, but let's go ahead. Thank you, staff. That's the first thing I'm going to say. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, staff. I want to and yes, Rochelle, no sound, but it was still nice. I think it was very nice, and I think it was very thoughtful. So thank you, guys. What we're going to do is, like I said, put it on social media. We'll put it on Facebook, put it on Instagram, so that people can see the tribute that they just did to me. And right now, let's get ready to give. Let's give. So let's put ways that people can give. And these are all the different ways that people can give. You can give by Cash App, Apple Pay, PayPal, and also you can mail it. And so let's, and I think that we may even have like a maybe Givelify or something coming up. But nevertheless, let's make sure these are the ways that you can give right here. So if you would, can you do $56 a day? If you do $56 in relation to my birthday, you can do $56 that you can really support our podcast. That would be great. That would be tremendous. I pray that today has educated you and empowered you. We are probably almost 13 minutes past our normal time, but I want to make sure that I shared as much as I can share with you at the time that I had allotted. So ways to give, $, Dr. Kevin A. Williams. That's Cash App, Zelle, Dr. Kevin A. Williams @gmail.com, paypal.me/Dr. Kevin A. Williams. Also, you can mail it to 1822 Sharp Road, Greensboro, North Carolina, 27406, and put it to the attention of Dr. Kevin A. Williams. For those of you all that are part of Mega Boss Fix My Life, it is coming up. If you have not registered, make sure that you register by going to megabossnews777 @gmail.com. megabossnews777 @gmail.com. These are ways that you can connect with us, but make sure that if you want that Mega Boss Fix My Life, I'm going to be doing probably within the next couple of days. I think I'm going to do a live strictly for what you're going to get when you get into the Mega Boss Fix My Life. How that $250 a month for 3 months is going to work for you. All right. So greatest blessings to each and every one of you. Thank God for you. Have a wonderful evening. I am going to celebrate my birthday as I close out, just with some tea and some peace, and just kind of take care of a little bit more business for the day, because I believe that God's business is the business that I need to be in. So that's what I'm doing. And then after that, after this fast is over, which is March 1st, then after March 1st, then I may go somewhere to eat. But until then, it's going to be me, water, and Jesus, and a little bit of tea. All right. God bless you guys, and have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Again, God bless you.